Hi there, it's Steph. So today's card was created with a Simon Says stamp, an Arctic Christmas stamp. It's actually part of the stamp set. There's a few greetings that comes with it as well, but my cards are for like French family and friends, so I don't normally use greetings a lot, really. But I love that stamp. I think it's a brilliant stamp. I really wanted it last year, but didn't get around to buying it, so I'm really happy I can use it this year. I've started with the pink penguin, but my webcam didn't record that part. So I've tried to keep the blue one a bit slow so you can see what's actually happening. And I will speed up a lot for the next one because otherwise the video would take forever. I think all in all, I think I had about 2 hours of recording for this card. It's a great stamp, but there's quite a lot of detail, and I like getting into detail. You know, I go over and over, and then I retrace my outline, and then I put my highlights, and it takes quite a while, and I get interrupted quite a few times today, so it did take a bit. But hopefully you won't find the next 10 or 11 minutes not too long. So what I did before I started that card, which I don't normally do, is I laid on my table the different color I wanted to use. And I picked these colors, blue, pink, and purple, that I actually bought for one of my Christmas decoration one year. And it's kind of, I think it was colors that were, I'm not sure I bought a pack, but I've seen probably after that a set of, you know, you buy a box with loads of mixed bubbles with different colors, and that's colors that they put together and they sell together, and I really like that kind of color scheme. So I thought we'd do that for this card. I'm planning on doing another one, which I'd like to do a bit more traditional Christmas kind of color, but I didn't get around to it yet, so that's a project, but I'm not sure if it's happening or not. Ta-da-da. So yeah, I keep going with the purple, and as always, a light, a medium, and a really dark. For the purple, the light purple is actually quite dark compared to the light blue and the light pink, so the shading is not quite as intense. But I still like the color, I think it's pretty. And then for the tree, the tree is interesting. I picked that yellow, which is actually a yellow green. It looks yellow like that, but if you compare it to another yellow, it's actually, I checked, I think in a copy color it would be a yellow mimosa. So it's kind of yellow but with a tinge of green, which works quite well for like leaves and stuff. I've learned that from other colorists. And you've probably seen it if you watch my recent videos, and it works really well on leaves, but on the Christmas tree it wasn't quite right. I just came to the conclusion that a tree that turns yellow is generally not a happy tree. So anyway, I darkened it a bit, and I will darken it even further after that. For the bubbles and the ribbon that you will see after, and the tinsel, I kept the same color with the penguin, so I wanted everything to kind of match, and I wanted consistency throughout the card. One, it's easier because you don't have to think which color do I use next, and two, I think to the eye, I think it looks nicer to the eye when it all matches, when there's some sort of, I want to say coherence, but I'm not sure that's an English word, that might be French. So anyway, I did the tinsel as well with the same colors. I'm sorry, I'm off camera here. A little yellow star and the tiny ones as well, and then here again I darkened again because it wasn't quite enough. So I think in the end it worked out okay, but at that stage I didn't know which color I was going to do the mountain, and I did have a color for my fourth penguin, and then in the end I will do the fourth penguin green, and I will do the mountains green, but I picked another green. I picked more of a mossy green. This one is not quite, the Christmas tree is not quite mossy green, also it's not either very, very deep Christmassy green. I hope you know what I mean. I don't have a color that compares to that, but I think you know what I mean, hopefully. So anyway, I moved on to the mountain. I'm sorry, I rumble. I did the mountains white, and for the snow on the floor I did a light layer, not a heavy-handed like I do for the rest. So you kind of see the cardstock peeking through, and it has a bit more of that magical-ish effect that I've seen on other people's work, and I really like that. It's really hard for me to be light-handed because I like the effect of a full color, a full layer. Let's call it, if in makeup terms, it would be full coverage. When I do light hand, I get that texture, which here with the white is quite it's quite small, the texture is not too obvious, but for the blue sky that I will do afterwards, I find it quite difficult to get a good texture that's regular across the whole sky, and because it's a large space, so I find it quite difficult. So I suppose that's something that needs practice. I remember, I think, I was a kid, I think, being told that to do a good uniform layer with a pencil, you had to color vertically, horizontally, and in diagonal as well, and supposedly you would get something really uniform. But it's not always easy if you want to start really dark at the bottom and light at the top. So, you know, there's an idea there, but I'm not sure if it's really doable or not. So then I did the penguin's belly in white with an outside of light gray, just for a hint of dimension. And then for the penguins, I did a really dark cool gray and some black, and it works quite well here with only 2 colors. I don't always use 3 colors. It's kind of my go-to, but it's not all the time. And then I finished my 4 penguins, and they are really cute. And then I think I moved on to the presents. I can't remember. I did it today, but it was quite a long card. Oh no, look, I moved on to the ladder. So here I use different browns, and actually it's not obvious on the video, but I use actually 3 very different shades of brown. One of them actually has a bit of red in it, but I wanted the idea of a wood that has different colors in it. I have a door in my house that's brown, made of wood, but has loads of light wood, light brown, dark brown, and I kind of wanted to have that on that ladder. And I know it doesn't look like there's that much thinking into the coloring of a ladder, but when I pick my colors, it kind of, you know, it's because I'm inspired by something, or it makes me think of something, or, you know, so there's method in the madness. Let's say. I hope that fits in that setting. And then for the igloo, I did white with a little bit of grey as well to give a bit of dimension, and then I moved on to the presents. So here again, using the same color scheme, and I think it looks quite nice. I'm actually quite happy with that. My purple is probably a bit more purple in real life. I've noticed on many occasions that when I photograph something purple, it tends to come a blue, and I don't know why that is. So my purple may have been a bit more pinkish than it was blue, than the blue purple you see here on that video, but it works fine. It's just, I don't know why it does that. Then I moved on to my moss green, so that's a very light layer of moss green, and then here a darker moss green just to add a little bit of shading onto the mountain, but not very much. And it's quite, you know, it's simple, but I thought a brown mountain looked odd. I wanted to do a brown mountain. I did it on other cards, but here I didn't think it would look right. And here I move on to the sky. So what I was saying about the texture and the pencil, I wanted to make it smooth and regular, but dark at the bottom and light at the top. And I'm like, wow. Yeah, I don't make my life easy sometimes. So here's a green hat with the green scarf. And I think in the end it looks fine. There's quite a lot of green, but I'm hoping the balance is good, because the mountains is quite a light color, a light hand on the color. So here I thought I finished everything. Turns out I forgot a little bit behind the penguin, so I will add that later. And I moved on to my glaze pen. So I don't know if you watch my videos or not, but glaze pen is the only pen that I found so far that actually works on Prismacolor. There may be more out there, but that's the one I found that I had in my stash, and I didn't have to buy something more. The only problem I had today is I put quite a lot of pen, well, so it was quite waxy on my paper. So when I put the glaze pen, and you can't see it because it's super speedy, but it kind of retracted. So imagine you put water on a glass vitrified surface, and it kind of retracts, it doesn't spread. So what was originally a not fine, but a smooth line, kind of retracted. So then I had to go with a jelly roll and kind of retrace some of the outlines I wasn't happy with. It's not something that happens all the time, so I'm not sure what happened today. Maybe I was a bit heavier handed than I am usually. But you know, there's ways to fix them. The reason I'm sharing with you all this little bit is that if it does happen, it's not the end of the world. We have loads of pens. I'm sure you guys have a lot of pen. We can fix things. Here, I fixed the blue thing. So I added a bit of shading at the back of the mountain to add that. It makes the white of the snow pop more, basically. It's just a way to kind of makes that really make it contrast. I don't know why it did that. I'm sure there's an eye optical reason for why the brightness looks brighter when there's dark outside at the back. Maybe I just said it. So here I did the penguin's eyes. I put a dot of white onto the black of the eyes. And then I will put black back on to kind of create like a pupil, like a human eye. And then I wasn't happy with it. I thought that was complete nonsense. It didn't look right at all. So I will just go back with my glaze pen and cover the gel pen back. So I glued my card front carefully, and I rolled my arm on it to make sure I wasn't smearing the glaze pen. And then I thought, let's add a border. It needed a little bit something more, and I'm like, what the heck did I just do? So I actually waited and I trimmed it because it was horrible. I don't know why I did that, but I thought I'd share it with you, otherwise you would think there's a centimeter that was missing of that card. So that's it. I added a bit of glossy accent and that was it. So I hope you find the card interesting, or at least pretty to look at, and I hope you find the technique interesting and the Prismacolor as well, because I think they are a really good medium. So thanks again for watching. Please don't hesitate to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share if you would like to, and do head over to my blog for photos. Thanks again and have a great day. Bye.